Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is the 11th day of August 2021. We're right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening, despite the thunder in some areas and the rain, which we need in others as well. And of course, we have the pluses and the minuses for the rain. Good things come with it. Bad things come with it as well. Some of those bad things are potholes on the road. But more importantly, mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are what we had some Jamaican scouters come to Cayman in the 60s. And they call them mansquitas, mansquita instead of mosquito, mansquita. So the rains will bring the mosquitoes as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that also. But I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Again, those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Remember, ensure that you observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle. Remember that by observing the protocols as well as the laws, the rules of the road, the life you save may be your own. For those of you celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. If you're not feeling well today, either at home or at a medical facility, we also want to wish you a speedy recovery. And don't forget, for those of you who know someone that may be celebrating a birthday today or in a few days' time, please feel free to pass that information on to us, and we will give them a shout out. You want to let them know exactly how you feel while they are alive. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. As usual, the COVID-19 situation in the Cayman Islands is always in the forefront as far as we are concerned here in the Cayman Islands and throughout the world as well. COVID-19 has preoccupied everyone throughout the world, and as usual, I will share with you the COVID-19 update that was issued yesterday, the 10th of August, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, reported that 418 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Monday, the 9th of August. There were no positive test results. Local vaccination clinics were closed on Monday, the 9th of August. But also based on what we're seeing in our local media here, the uptake of the vaccine has slowed down tremendously. And if we are to reach the plateau that we want to, we need to continue to encourage those persons who can and want to get the vaccine, that they should do so as well. I also note that last week in the British Virgin Islands, 685 doses of the vaccine were dumped, were destroyed because of their expiry date. Now, that in itself is a travesty, because we have so many countries that are begging, waiting for the vaccine, but yet we have in some jurisdictions where it is, you have a situation where it's going unused, and as a result, it has to be dumped. So we will be talking somewhat about the vaccine this morning, and that conversation will take place with none other than Dr. Steve Macfield, who is right across the parking lot from us here at Radio Cayman. So convenient for him to just hop over to the studio, and he can hop. At 80 plus years of age, he is still very spruce, very springy. And a lot of you have commented, about, his mental acuity as it stands and his memory as well. So, without any further ado, Doc, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record. Good morning to you and for all the people in the Cayman diaspora and for all the people in For the Record land and all of those who listen to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, Doc. So we see in the British Virgin Islands, they've dumped 685 vials of the vaccine had to be dumped. We have not heard of any dumping yet here in the Cayman Islands. We're not certain whether or not that has actually occurred. Things seem to be fairly quiet as far as the vaccination program is concerned. We do know that the Minister for Tourism and Transport did point out that the private sector, as far as trying to incentivize and encourage people, that the private sector is playing a more prominent role in that area as well. And I would say, extremely grateful for that. The debate continues in relation to those who do not want to take the vaccine and those who want to. Some people are doing it for religious reasons. Some people are refusing to take it because of medical reasons. Some people are saying the speed in the development of the vaccine is too fast. They're waiting for the Centers for Disease Control in the United States to approve the vaccines before they will take any of them. And that debate is not limited to here in the Cayman Islands. It is throughout the world. I'm not sure how much the decisions that people are making here, how much that may be influenced by the outside world, by what's happening in places like the U.S. and even the United Kingdom, and how much social media is influencing that as well, because you have many persons who read their news, but they read the news on Facebook. And when I say news, I say that in quotation because you really have to be able to distinguish between what is fake news and what is real news. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to go to more than one source. And there are people who sit and read newspapers and read dozens of newspapers so that you can get various viewpoints on particular subjects. Anything to say about that, Doc?
Well, I'm sure that we're influenced by what's happening outside of our jurisdiction, especially coming from the north, from the north of us. And you know, you have all kinds of media now, Facebook and Instagram, and you have all of the other medias that people can instantly now connect with the outside world and see what people are saying and what they're writing about and what they're doing. And I think that we are influenced by the outside media. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, though, to see the debate now that is taking place in Cayman among especially the employers and the employees. Some employers are mandating that their employees get the vaccination, and some people are not demanding it, but are saying that it should be a condition of coming back to work. And that is a debate now that is also going on in the United States and the United Kingdom. And it's very interesting to see how that is going to pan out with the rise of the new surge in the COVID, and that the success that we had in last year does not seem to have continued this year, because now I see that some in some countries the hospitals are overwhelmed, like in Jamaica, and I see that in the United States now that the COVID is rising in Miami and different places, and I wonder now how long we can go on without having to restrict people's rights for their privacy and even I noticed last week the churches in Cayman have come out and says, telling their flocks, go and get the COVID, go and get the vaccination because we have nothing against it. We don't have any religious objections to it. And it seems to me that something has to give sooner or later, because if we are going to, and then there's this excuse that, well, we have to live with it for the rest of our lives. I don't believe that, and I will not take that as an excuse. Something has to give. This is a worldwide pandemic. It's a contagious disease, and I noticed here. I was reading in our Constitution on Section 5 that deals with personal liberty. Yes. You know that it says no one shall be deprived by government of liberty and security of the person. That is the liberty, your security of the person. But it says the right to liberty does not extend to the following measures taken in relation to a person in accordance with a procedure prescribed by law. And then it says, for the purpose of preventing the spread of an infectious or contagious disease. Now they can restrict your liberty for the purpose of preventing the spread of infectious or contagious disease. If the government can do that under Section 5, can restrict your liberty, it seems to me that the government would have the right also to restrict to have an obligation for you to take the COVID because you are for the purpose of preventing the spread of infectious and contagious disease. I do not understand the conflict between Section 5 and Section 16 that says that that you cannot discriminate against people and that people have the right to choose. And Section 16 does not allow the government to force you to take the vaccination. Mm-hmm. But Section 5 of the Bill of Rights says that you can be restricted if you have the disease from going certain places, and you can even be restricted from coming out of your house.
Right, and that's why in the early days, the curfews and stuff, they were able to do that. So when you look at the meaning of restrict,
yes,
restricting you as opposed to mandating that you must take the vaccine. I don't think that the two words and the two meanings are the same.
No. Yeah. And you remember the show that you had? I was present with Dr. Brown and Dr. Lee. You remember? I think we all agreed around the table here that an employer could mandate that if you begin the employment, if you start the employment with them, that a condition of your employment was that they would have to take the vaccine.
Yes. Yeah.
But those people who are already employed, they could not impose that same condition.
Quite possible.
There's the legal argument about that, and that legal argument now is raging in the United States and also in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that, later on in the show as well, folks. Time for us to take our first commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Caymanians have historically taken pride in their community spirit and willingness and ability to assist their own. However, this traditional sense of community support began to disintegrate as the island grew and modernized. Recognizing the need to assist, under the lobbying efforts of Miss Sybil Joyce Hilton, the Cayman Islands government created the Probation and Welfare Unit in 1964 with a budget of £2,240. The need for services continued to grow, and by the new millennia, social services were operating with a staff of 200 people and a budget of $12 million. Ms. Joyce, affectionately known as the Mother of Probation, successfully lobbied the government to make changes to the way juvenile cases were processed in the court system, helped establish a probation office as well as a juvenile court system, and became the first probation and welfare officer in the country. In 1968, Ms. Joyce was honored with the Cayman Islands Certificate and Badge of Honor and received the designation of MBE in 1978. In 2011, she was designated as a National Hero of the Cayman Islands, and in 2013 was honored as Youth Services Pioneer by the Cayman Islands government.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Start your engines for Rotary Central's first Gumball Rally. Saturday, August the 21st. Rotary Central's newest initiative, raising funds for community mental health projects. It's the Gumball Rally. Follow the clues to a secret destination where we will be laying on food, music, raffles and prizes for different categories. This is a fun event and not a race. Registration starts at Cricket Square on Elgin Avenue at 11:30 or pre-register ahead of time through Rotary Central Facebook page or contact 928-3869 for further details. You can also check out the What's On in Cayman app on your smartphones. $100 entry fee per car for up to 4 people. Rotary Central, serving to change lives.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the 2021 Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new 2021 Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
You don't always have to give up the food you love to live a healthier life. You just have to choose better to eat better. At Caribbean Bakery, we know that delicious, nutritious bread only uses a few ingredients that leads to better taste, better health, and an overall better experience. We focus on simple, quality ingredients while leaving out the bad ingredients that commercial bread brands are known for and can lead to illness. Feed your body, feed your family with 100% additive-free, freshly baked bread from Caribbean Bakery. And don't miss our hot bread Sundays, freshly baked loaves delivered to Mick Russ grocery store every Sunday morning. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Dr. Steve McFeel. And before we start to talk more about the COVID-19 situation in the Cayman Islands, we just wanted to extend birthday greetings to Mr. Bransley Scott, and it's coming from his wife. She wants to wish you a happy birthday, Mr. Bransley Scott. Happy birthday to you, sir, from your wife. So, Doc, I think what we should also do is we should let our listeners and viewers know the situation in the Cayman Islands, where we are at now in terms of the opening phases.
Yes.
And we have moved into reopening plan phase 2. That was on the 9th of Monday the 9th. So government moved into phase 2 of its reopening plan Monday the 9th of August. The new phase allows travelers whose vaccinations have been securely verified to quarantine for 5 days without a GPS monitoring device, without having that GPS monitoring device. So it has to be a securely verified vaccination. They have to be able to verify that in a secure manner, and person will be allowed to quarantine for only 5 days and not to have a GPS monitor. It goes on to say, noting that this change applies only to travelers arriving in Cayman Islands from the 9th of August onwards. Health Minister Sabrina Turner emphasizes that quarantine remains mandatory for all vaccinated and unvaccinated arrivals. While vaccination reduces the chances of infection and transmission and offers the best possible protection against severe disease and death, it is still possible for vaccinated travelers to transmit the COVID-19 virus, Ms. Turner explains. Deputy Governor Mr. Franz Manderson says that Travel Cayman, which is responsible for inward travel, is responding to the change by implementing strategies that ensure persons remain in compliance with the quarantine protocols. These include initiating daily contact with persons whose securely verified vaccinations qualify them to quarantine for 5 days without GPS monitoring. Physical welfare checks have also increased, and the Travel Cayman team is applying strategies to facilitate the ready identification travelers that fall within this category. Individuals quarantining without GPS technology must follow all other prescribed quarantine protocols, including remaining in their residence for the duration of the quarantine period and receiving no visitors. Contactless supply deliveries are another important requirement. Unvaccinated travelers are still required to complete the 14 days of quarantine. So if you're unvaccinated and you're a traveler, you are required to complete the 14 days of quarantine, while those whose vaccinations cannot be verified must complete 10 days. Both of those groups will still wear GPS technology. I'm going to pause there for a second and say to that, if they're unable to verify, to securely verify that the person has been vaccinated, I believe they should let them quarantine for the 14 days rather than the 10 days. Why reduce that to 10 days? And we're seeing now, for instance, one of our neighbors, Jamaica, that fake vaccination cards are emerging. They're showing up. And if they're emerging in Jamaica, we have to be careful here in the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
Right. It goes on to say that the use of GPS technology has greatly assisted the continuous monitoring of persons in quarantine. Mr. Manderson observes, but it is notable that Travel Cayman identifies most breaches as a result of checks by its mobile compliance team, as well as the reporting of suspected breaches by the public. Anyone who suspects an individual has breached quarantine can make a report to the quarantine tip hotline. The telephone number is 943-7233 or 943-SAFE. So you can report any suspected breach of the quarantine protocols. Any person found guilty of breaching quarantine is liable upon conviction to a maximum fine of $10,000 and up to 2 years imprisonment. Premier the Honorable Wayne Panton emphasizes that the reopening plan, which is slowly rolling back requirements for inward travel over the remainder of 2021, is essential to safely restarting the economy. As restrictions are reduced, Mr. Panton says the likelihood of the COVID-19 disease re-entering the Cayman Islands community will increase. He comments that the COVID-19 vaccine offers the best protection against the risks that the deadly disease poses to Caymanians and residents of all ages. Practicing COVID-19 prevention protocols include hand washing, mask wearing, and social distancing, if vulnerable, are amongst the ways that members of the public can protect themselves, their loved ones, and the wider community, the Premier said. Mr. Pannon adds the government with the support of public health officials and the civil service, has put a tremendous amount of planning and preparation into ensuring that we can successfully move through each phase of the plan, which is so important to the economic health of our country. I want to find we reached top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. I will share the rest of it with you when we return. Please stay tuned for the record with Dr. Steve McField. We'll be back after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by friends at Foster's.
I'm heading to Foster's. Do you need anything?
Yeah, can you get a packet of plant-based Beyond Meat burgers for dinner tonight and that Wicked Joe organic coffee that I love?
Can you also give me a tub of dairy-free Ripple ice cream? And we're running low on Eco's laundry detergent.
Does Foster's have all that?
Yeah, it's in their latest Foster's Finds catalog. That's where I find all their latest new and specialty products.
Foster's Finds are exclusively available at Foster's Camana Bay. Visit fosters.ky/finds to discover your new favorite products. Foster's, better choice because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 31st of December 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton joins the Ministers for Planning and Lands and Department of Environment Monday to figure out what the necessary inputs are and how to address the problem of beach erosion. CIGTV's Donna Bush reports.
Last week, the Honourable Premier was joined by colleagues and management of the Marriott Resort to see firsthand what is happening. The Premier says the plan is to create a task force who will help to put short and longer-term solutions in place to the beach erosion issue, as the problem is a big priority for the government.
That's CIGTV's Donna Bush reporting. Meanwhile, the Department of Environment, DOE, is set to hold a special meeting tomorrow for residents of Cayman Brac who want to know more about the conservation plan for a rare plant species unique to Cayman Brac, Sybil's crownbeard. DOE's Legislation, Implementation and Coordination Unit Manager, John Bothwell.
So really the special meeting about Sybil's crownbeard conservation plan is just for information purposes for the members of the public, to make sure that if they have any questions about it, about how the plan would work, what the plan is, why it needs to be protected, how we protect it, that they can have those questions answered directly, that they don't feel that it's too much trouble to drop us an email or something. So we're just trying to make sure that Thursday evening, 12th of August, 7:30 p.m. at Spot Bay Primary School, anybody who wants to find out about Sybil's crownbeard, this very rare little plant that is unique to that corner of the bluff in Cayman Brac, can come out to the meeting and find out what's happening with it and what the rules are for protecting it.
The DOE's special meeting takes place tomorrow, that is August 12th at 7:30 p.m. at Spot Bay Primary School. For more on DOE's efforts to preserve the Sybil's crownbeard, head to the conservation.ky website. In other local news, 11 Caymanians are now certified dive masters thanks to a Ministry and Department of Tourism and local dive operators partnership training. Here's Radio Cayman's Paula Cal with more.
The ministry partnered with local dive operators, Ocean Frontiers and GoPro Diving to take 11 Caymanians through an 8-week PADI certification training course. It's part of the National Tourism Training Program with the goal of increasing the number of Caymanians in the dive industry. Areas covered included open water diver, PADI advanced open water, PADI rescue diver, PADI nitrox enriched air, PADI fish ID specialty, PADI lionfish culling, PADI coral conservation, CPR and first aid with AED and oxygen provider training, and PADI dive master certification. Since becoming certified, several participants have been assisting with the coral restoration projects of Cayman's reefs. Minister of Tourism and Transport, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, says diving is one of the key activities that we are known for here in Cayman, and it is encouraging to see that Caymanians are receiving these qualifications. The Ministry of Tourism is committed to training displaced Caymanian workers for opportunities in the industry and to advance their skills. He says they need to ensure that anyone interested in a tourism career is able to access the resources required to pursue one, especially young Caymanians. For Radio Cayman News, I am Paul Akal.
Anyone interested in learning more about the PADI certification course and future opportunities, you can email hcd@caymanislands.ky. Turning to regional news now, the UK government has agreed to foot the bill to quarantine Jamaicans who were last night deported to the island as fears mount that they could be carrying the worrying Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus. On Tuesday, efforts were made in the United Kingdom to stop the flight after 2 people tested positive for COVID-19. The Jamaica Observer was told that the British government had said there would be no more than 30 people on the flight. However, Tuesday night, Jamaica Observer sources said legal challenges resulted in more than 12 people being pulled from the flight at the last minute, leaving about 10. A senior local security official said the British Home Office has promised the Jamaican government that it will ensure that those on the flight have exhausted all legal appeals and remedies before they are issued with travel documents. We now turn to the BBC with a check of international news. That's it for me. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm Shanda Gallego.
BBC News with Neil Nunes. The Afghan government is replacing its army chief, General Wali Mohammed Ahmadzai, as the Taliban continue their rapid advance. 8 provincial capitals are now in the hands of the militants. President Ashraf Ghani has been rallying beleaguered troops in Mazar-e-Sharif, a longtime bastion of anti-Taliban militias. Federal prosecutors in Germany say a British man who worked at the British Embassy in Berlin has been arrested on suspicion of spying for Russia. The man is said to have forwarded documents to a Russian intelligence agent in return for cash. BBC World News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended 30th of April, 2021, the various life cycle funds have provided returns between 10.5% and 43.2%. And our all-in expense ratio for year ended 30th of June, 2020 is currently the lowest it's ever been. 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Hurricane season is here. If you're not prepared, it can really turn your life upside down. Fortunately, there's CG Britcay. Our people are here ready to assist at a moment's notice, with protection like alternative accommodation for those who are displaced due to a storm, and coverage for the cost of clearing debris, hiring surveyors, architects, and more. It's our priority to make sure you have what you need when you need it most. So when your life gets turned upside down, we can help to turn it around. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Start your engines for Rotary Central's first Gumball Rally. Saturday, August the 21st. Rotary Central's newest initiative, raising funds for community mental health projects. It's the Gumball Rally. Follow the clues to a secret destination where we will be laying on food, music, raffles and prizes for different categories. This is a fun event and not a race. Registration starts at Cricket Square on Elgin Avenue at 11:30 or pre-register ahead of time through Rotary Central Facebook page or contact 928 3869 for further details. You can also check out the What's On in Cayman app on your smartphones. $100 entry fee per car for up to 4 people. We already have teams signed up, but we want more. Come and join them at the Gumball Rally, Saturday, August the 21st. All of our proceeds support our mental health projects. Rotary Central, serving to change lives.
Welcome, everybody. Good evening to you. Welcome to the Miss Teen Pageant.
The Lions Club and Leo Club of Grand Cayman presents the 40th staging of the Miss Teen Cayman Islands pageant on Saturday, August 28th at the Lions Center. Be there to cheer on these 9 beautiful ladies as they represent their district and vie for the title of Miss Teen Cayman Islands. This is a pageant you don't want to miss. So come and show your support for your favorite contestants Saturday, August 28th at the Lions Center. Gates open at 5 p.m. with showtime at 7 p.m. sharp. Admission is $25 prepaid or $30 at the gate. Limited premium tickets cost $40. Tickets are available at EventPro, Winner's Circle, Funky Tanks, or from the contestants and Lions members. Sponsored by Digicel, Winner's Circle Sports, CUC, King Sports Center, Finishing Touch, and Radio Cayman.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
Pan American Life Insurance Group can help you take your employee benefit solution to the next level. For more than 110 years, millions of people have trusted PALIG because we've always delivered on our promise. PALIG is the only insurer providing group policies to as few as 3 employees and has the ability to combine life, health, disability, and income protection to provide you and your employees with a complete employee benefits package. Let us customize your employee benefits solution today. Call us at 949-8304 or visit our office at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, or visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life. People you can trust for life.
All right, good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your latest weather conditions. Present temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. It's nice and sunny on the outside. A little bit of cloud cover. Feels like about 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are out of the east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. Relative humidity 83%. Last night's dew point was at 77. Barometric pressure now at 29.94 inches and slowly dropping. Isolated showers are expected to continue through this afternoon as remnant moisture from the passage of a tropical wave lingers across our area. Light to moderate easterly winds and seas are expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. And the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Fred, which at 4 a.m. was located 18.0 north and 68.2 degrees west, about 115 miles east-southeast of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Tropical Storm Fred has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour and is moving towards the west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. Of course, the Cayman Islands National Weather Service will continue to monitor the progress of this storm system. Our forecast for today, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and some thunder. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Then later on this evening, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're at a low tide. High tide is coming up at 11:19 this morning. It's going to be low at 5:10 this afternoon. High at 11:27 this evening. For tomorrow, low tide is at 6:07 a.m. High at 12:16 p.m. and low at 6:06 p.m. Sunset is at 6:54 this evening. Sunrise for Thursday is at 6:06. The outlook is for a further decrease in cloudiness and shower activity, which is expected tomorrow morning as the influence of the tropical wave weakens. Afternoon showers and possible thunder are likely to occur on Thursday and Friday. That's your latest weather right here on your Radio Cayman.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
We at Pan American Life Insurance Group are here to help you protect your family and your income. For more than 110 years, millions of people have trusted PALIG because we have always delivered on our promise. Life insurance is not only about death, but also about living benefits. We'll help you secure the life insurance, accident and sickness disability income you need to protect you and your family. Call us today at 949-8304 or visit our office, Unit 221 Cannon Place East, North Song Road, or visit www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, celebrate your progress. It's important to acknowledge progress each step of the way as you achieve your goals. Everything that you do to move in that direction gets you a little closer. Planning small rewards along the way can help to keep things interesting and give us a taste of what sweet success will be like.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to
Summer,
place your catering
the
order
season
today.
for backyard gatherings, beach parties, office socials, and camps for kids. Make the most of your summer party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters or double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your summer with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
All right, good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your traffic situation. Starting off with West Bay Road as you make your way to Georgetown. Got some moderate traffic there. Moving at the assigned speed limit on West Bay Road. Expect some traffic as you get closer to Georgetown, heading along North Church Street into Seafarers Way. And the SLA Tibbetts Highway, good flow of traffic there as well as you make your way into Georgetown, heading through the Butterfield roundabouts. And of course, heading into Georgetown from the eastern districts, East-West Arterial, Crichton Boulevard, a good flow of traffic there. Also looking out from King Sports Center, traffic heading along onto the Linford-Pearson Highway. Good movement until a little way into the highway slows down. And of course, the usual traffic that goes from there as you either go Agnes Way via onto Crew Road. Expect that traffic, but it is moving along quite nicely as the so far so good. Trying to get these cameras to move a little bit quicker. Looking at streets in Georgetown, of course, Shed Road getting a little bit busy. Nice flow of traffic there. Similar with Godfrey Nixon Way. Edward Street looking good. And of course, the traffic is not too bad this morning. Just be safe out there. Buckle up. The traffic report, of course, brought to you by our friends at Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
3T Cayman MRI is the patient-friendly MRI experience in the Cayman Islands. With the most advanced scanner on island, utilizing cutting-edge technology, and a team of highly trained radiologists and technologists with the experience that rivals any clinic in the world, our suite is designed for patient comfort, with the largest patient opening of any scanner, and additional features to minimize anxiety during your scan. Come to 3T Cayman MRI for your patient-friendly experience. Learn more at 3tcayman.com.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
The Department of Environment would like to invite Cayman Brac residents to a special community meeting at the Spot Bay Primary School this Thursday, 12th August at 7:30 p.m. to discuss the conservation plan for the shrub known as Sybil's crownbeard. The entire world population of Sybil's crownbeard grows on the north-facing cliffs of Cayman Brac's Bluff. The community meeting is this Thursday, 12th August, 7:30 p.m. at Spot Bay Primary School. To learn more, download the plan from www.conservation.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Dr. Steve Macfield. We do have a caller, but before we go to the caller, I just want to finish reading the release in relation to moving to Phase 2 and to complete what the Premier had to say and to share with you what the Minister of Tourism and Transport had to say as well. So goes on to say, Mr. Pannon adds, quote, the government, with the support of public health officials and the civil service, has put a tremendous amount of planning and preparation into ensuring that we can successfully move through each phase of the plan, which is so important to the economic health of our country. Our goal, led by the science, is to guarantee minimal risk to the community, and we are continuously reviewing and upgrading our processes. With this in mind, my sincerest thanks to the board for everything that they have done to date. That's what the Premier said. Minister of Tourism and Transport, Honorable Kenneth Barnes, is quoted as saying, I am pleased that the reopening plan is progressing to Phase 2, and I look forward to the next phase when we start the limited introduction of tourism. From its creation in 2020, some months into the COVID-19 pandemic, to August 1st, 2021, Travel Cayman has helped over 21,579 travelers with connections to the Cayman Islands to enter the country for essential reasons. So that ends there. What we're also going to be discussing with you this morning, Dr. Steve Macfield, will be the some of the local remedies to the COVID-19 situation in relation to the vaccine process, looking at the private sector, what they have done, what they're encouraged to do, and some of the challenges that other jurisdictions have as well. But before we go there, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, OC. Hello, Dr. Steve, and your esteemed viewers.
Good morning. Morning. How are you?
Mr. Samamba.
Yeah, Billy Samamba here. Now, I have to tell you, I know COVID is very important. It raises human rights issues, and that's important too. But also, my judgment, which is not officially out, also raises human rights issues. But I'll tell you what, I will tell you what's in the judgment. And the reason I will tell you what's in the judgment is because although it is still in draft form, it has taken 2 weeks. They haven't sent me the final one. But in any case, once the draft is sent out, it is only subject to typographical correction. So that is the judgment. It's not going to change. So,
okay.
Let me tell you that. Basically, let me do this in 2 minutes because that's all we have. The Grand Court law provides in Section 29 that if a judge acts within his jurisdiction, he cannot be sued in a civil way.
Mm-hmm.
If he acts within his jurisdiction,
right.
Pure and clear. Then in B, it says, however, whether or not he claims to be acting within his jurisdiction, he can be sued if, quote, acted maliciously and in bad and without reasonable cause, unquote. So if he acts maliciously and without reasonable cause, it doesn't matter whether he's claiming to be within his jurisdiction or not, he can be sued. What has happened is that I claimed that this judge acted maliciously and without reasonable cause by lying about when I requested a hearing, and then he used that as an excuse to deny me the hearing. I say that's malicious.
Mm-hmm.
What this judge has decided is as follows: 2 things. There are a lot of things, but the one that we really need to talk about. One, he has said that he will not apply that particular provision that says that malice and the reasonable cause, lack of reasonable cause, remove the protection. He will not apply that.
Mm-hmm.
What he will apply a UK case from 46 years ago, which says that even if he acts maliciously, he is protected. So in other words, what has he said? He has said he can ignore the clear, unambiguous language passed by the 19 elected representatives and assented to by a representative of Her Majesty's government, the governor.
Mm-hmm.
He can ignore all that and say, no, I will apply the UK case law. In my view, that is a changing of the whole fundamental constitutional relationship between the UK and the Cayman Islands. Because what we use UK case law is, if we have a law which uses similar language and the UK have got a similar language, then we use that to interpret our laws. But where the Parliament in Cayman has passed a law which says that a judge is not protected if he acts maliciously, then you can't say, oh, no, it doesn't matter, I will not apply this, I'll apply the other one. So what I've done is, I have to get off now. The second thing, I gave him all the evidence of malice. I gave him emails, I gave him what the judge said, I gave him also the legal definition of bad faith. In his judgment, he has avoided quoting from any of those, but he has concluded, he says, in any case, I don't think there was malice. How do you conclude that there was no malice if you haven't examined the matters or even quoted them so that the public can see what was before you? But let me stop there. But I've written to the governor, and I've said this is a major constitutional issue. I've copied this letter to all the MLAs, and we're on social media right now. They want a copy of the judgment, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is huge, absolutely huge, because it is changing fundamentally the relationship between the UK and the Cayman Islands.
So the judgment then, I take it, was not in your favor.
Oh, exactly. It was not in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
And, by the way, more than that, with all these things they have done, they have now made an order that the judge is charging me costs. and that I should be prevented in the next 2 years from bringing any court action related to that same matter without the special approval of a judge. And in my view, and this is, I say this in exercise of my constitutional rights, this is a cover-up, because if they had taken the evidence I gave it to them, they would have found that this judge actually acted maliciously. And so I'm less concerned now about that aspect. I'm more concerned about this constitutional aspect, that the judge can ignore what the legislators have decided and apply what the court case in England, has decided. And by the way, even in England, that case is doubted, because they are saying that if you deny somebody the right to a fair trial under the European Convention of Human Rights, that a judge could be sued. So even that debate is there. But you can't say that the LA here has to be trumped by somebody who has decided a case in England, because this means even magistrates and judges now can say, we see what the LA says here.
But doesn't that prove that our parliament is not supreme?
Yes.
Something that Dr. Steve has been saying over and over and over again. As long as the UK can legislate for us, that what our parliament does here is not supreme.
It's not supreme, and this takes it also to a whole new level, because what it means is, unlike the fact that the Her Majesty's government can actually legislate over us, but this one is now even saying even a judge in England can overrule the local parliament. I mean, that is unprecedented, and in my view, I should get off the line now. What this judge has done is also, it's a criminal offense. I can come on OC to discuss this, but it will take 1 hour. There's also criminal offenses. Which
So let me ask you just one question, Mr. Samama, before we go. Does that mean now that you are not able to appeal the matter?
No, I have already actually prepared my appeal matters, because I do not see that order should apply to the appeal. I mean, in fact, I've got a right of appeal as of right under Section 26 of the Constitution, because it was an application under Section 26, which says if it's a human rights matter, you've got a right of appeal as of right. In fact, today I'm filing my appeal.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you very much. All the best of luck.
Thanks for the time.
Best of luck, Billy. Okay. Let's grab another caller before we go to the break, since that caller's been waiting. Paul, caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning.
I'll hold on to that to the break, please. What time are we going to the break?
No, go ahead. Start talking.
And you're going to hold on afterwards?
If you're not finished, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Mr. Maxine, I got two questions. Mr. Maxine, this one is for you. The parade I had last Saturday with the young lady in the parade getting onto the officer, the police officer bike while he was in the parade. I don't want you to answer me, nobody can answer me when I hang up. I want you to tell me what you think about that person or the young lady going alongside of him and her and dancing and carrying on with this police officer on the police motorbike. You can answer that when I'm finished. Also, I would like to say this. I hope that Mr. Brian is listening. He's asking all the tourism people to go to work and sign up. He just came up on the radio on his briefing just about a week or so ago, stating several different things, and he broke down the district with certain things. Now, when we fill out those forms last month for him online, I'm quite sure, I know for a fact the majority of us did put down that we are working, we already have a job, and most of them are with government. Now, we are being told that we have until the 16th to go and apply with work for to see if they can place us into a job. So I want him to please come on here and try to clarify this for me, because I don't see me going down to work to apply for no job when I already have a job with government and doing tax for part-time.
Is he saying that you have to apply or register?
Well, register, and if you get a chance, if they call you for to try to put you into a job place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would like him to clarify that some more for me, knowing that a lot of us in there that has jobs with government, and what we that has jobs with government, do we have to go and fill out this form as well too? And Mr. Matthew, could you please answer that question for me, please?
in regards to the police officer.
Yeah, but before you go to a caller, when you say that you already have jobs with government, are those permanent jobs or are those transitory until you can transition back to your regular job? Because if it's a temporary job, then it is. Let me finish. Let me finish. It is quite possible. It is quite possible that what they're saying is that you need to start making other arrangements because we're going to soon be taking you off of that type of employment, government employment.
Say that again?
I said if the government job that you have now is not a permanent one and it is only temporary with the COVID-19 situation, maybe the reason, and this is my interpretation, maybe the reason that they want you to register now is because they're sooner or later that job is no longer going to exist, that temporary one, and they want you to transition to something else.
Well, I've been doing this job now for the last 10, 11 years, so I'm not on there.
Okay, that's why I asked you whether or not it was a I thought it was a something during the COVID-19.
No. I've been doing it for 11 years now.
Okay, good. Okay.
And many more other bus drivers.
Okay,
drivers.
Got you.
So I would like just the Lieutenant to come in and call in and talk about that. So.
Sure. We'll encourage him, and if he's listening, I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Mr. Matthew, please tell me what was right and what was wrong with that officer with them people on site. The police, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll do that as soon as we return. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Optical Outlook Caymanian Village location has moved. Same great services and products, new location. We've moved to Anderson Square in central Georgetown. It's a much larger space with dedicated parking. Please call us on 746-2020 to make your appointment at our new location today. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please come see the difference with Optical Outlook, Cayman's premier optical provider.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, none other than Dr. Steve MacPhail. Doc, any answers for the lady in relation?
Well, when you consider the venue, when you consider the reasons why those things happen, it's a carnival, a parade, and according to commissioner of police or the police brass that they didn't see anything wrong with it. And I looked at I read the Mail and the Mirror and all of those things, and I remember, I think it was last year in the carnival, or the year before last, or even this year in the carnival in the United Kingdom, the police was also whining and dancing up and with some women in the parade. And when that picture came out in the media in England, the Commissioner of Police in England says that what the police were doing were building good relationships with their neighbors and in their neighborhood, and he didn't see anything wrong with it.
Because sometimes we complain that they're too aloof.
Sometimes they complain that they're too aloof and they're too restrictive from the public and so forth. And so, if the police themselves don't have any objections about it, I don't see why I should have an objection about it.
Okay, and what I'll do is I'll share with our listening audience and with that caller as well, Cayman News Service article in regards to it, and it says it's headed "Cops Carnival Capers, Not a Protocol Breach."
Yes.
It says the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service has confirmed that there is no investigation into the motorcycle cop at the center of a viral video on social media that shows the officer astride his police bike while a female Caymas carnival dancer riding pillion is whining on the officer. But officials said that the police were exempt from the social distancing protocols that had been imposed for Saturday's carnival. The police also confirmed that there were no major incidents of violence at the carnival or COVID-19 protocol issues, though 9 persons were arrested for driving under the influence. This goes on to say, while social media was awash with complaints about protocol breaches, excessive lewd behavior in the streets, as well as drunken brawls breaking out, it appears that there is little record of such events, and says that the organizers of Caymas said that it had been a successful event, which would not have been possible without the people's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think what we have to, if you had an interest in Caymas, you go out there and you enjoy it. If it's not your interest, that's not what you're interested in, and you want to go to church or you want to go to the bookstore or do some shopping, then you go and you do what you have to do. Leave the Caymas people alone. Leave those persons. As long as they are not infringing on your constitutional rights, everyone has to exist in these islands. Everyone has to exist throughout the world. Leave them alone.
It wasn't as if he was going to an accident and or escorting an ambulance, or making an arrest or something. It was a carnival. You have to look at the atmosphere, what a carnival atmosphere is, and people do behave that way in a carnival atmosphere, and then you have to give people leeway too. No, you cannot be too conservative in everything that you do.
And they have a right to march and to have their parade just like everyone else. Doc, we do have a caller, but before we go there, I want to say that you're a big star in Rotan, Honduras, and one of our loyal followers and listeners sent me a WhatsApp message and said, "Hi OC, I'm here in Rotan on a church revival. Ships have been coming in here from early last month. Today, two ships are in, and 30 persons tested positive for COVID." It say that they sent me the link to the news channel that talks all about it. Says human lives do matter. I hope and pray that our government does not make any quick decision to open up. And he says, please say hi to Dr. Steve McField. He's very much talked about down here in Rotan.
Oh, thank you, Rotan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
O.C.?
Good morning.
O.C., Mr. McField?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I am so appalled. I have nothing against any carnival that we have in Cayman.
Uh-huh.
I have nothing against those things.
Okay.
We have no adjustment to anything here. It's free for all. People can do it. If we have a law, we have a police, what do you call it? We have policemen on the island. We have a station. I am not saying that we must take those ladies and him and lay them into jail. I'm not saying anything in that category. But the fact of the matter,
I don't think anyone implied that that's what you were saying.
You know, but what I'm trying to get across to, I can guarantee you, if that was in the U.S. and there's officers in a parade, and one of those persons in that parade jump on their motorbike, believe me, it wouldn't have ran up as easy.
Well, I can tell you that the West Indian Carnival, that it is common for, and you know how Caribbean women are, and it is common for them to be winding on police officers right down on Eastern Avenue and everything, and it's in the press, and the police departments view that as part of their blending in with the community.
Well, I just tell you that things have changed for the Cayman Island in every aspect. And with the officer, with the parade that had this week before, with our governor and premier. If that was Mr. Alvin McLaughlin, they would have out there and go and borrow Mr.
But you can, that's an unfair comparison. You can't compare the premier with a police officer. Yes. That's an unfair comparison.
It's all a part of government, and they're all going to be setting an example to this country. I'm not getting upset with you guys.
No, we're not going to get upset.
No.
We're going to set an example for our people and our young generation that's coming up. That's all I have to say this morning. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. For that caller as well. I just think that we're becoming too sensitive about everything.
Everything.
Yes. Next caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, O.C. and Mr. McField. How are you fine gentlemen doing today?
We're
fine
okay this morning.
Yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How are you, sir?
We're fine. Listen, I'm just wondering if you had heard anything more about this harebrained idea that was announced in Parliament during the budget about free lunches for school children. Have you heard any other details about that?
No. But why is it harebrained?
Yes.
Well, because it has got to be very well planned out. Because my last count said that we had 4,620 odd. I think 4,620 students in public schools as of March 2021, and the lunches would probably come to like $5 a day per child,
or maybe even more,
and times 5 days a week, which comes to like $463,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And if you times that by say 10 months, because you probably take off 2 months because of school holidays and stuff, that's a $4.6 million gift or social program that could grow into bigger proportions as the population increases. And about social programs, what to say about that. Once you start it, you can't stop it.
And you don't think that when it comes to our children that they deserve that or more?
Yeah, well, no. There's two sides to the the story.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, I have a child, and probably soon have one other one. And
congrats!
Yes, congratulations.
No, not a new one. I mean, I have two, but I'm saying one is not of school age yet, but probably will be, in a few years. But one is in primary school, and yes, so lunch is paid for by the parents. What I'm saying, I've seen grave examples of where students don't have lunches, but they have the wherewithal the guardians have the wherewithal to make sure that that there's funds there to provide lunches.
Mm-hmm.
And what you don't want to have is something that is so free and so loose, and there's no checks and balances. There's no controls.
How do you know there are no checks and balances and no controls if you haven't heard anything about it?
No, but that's what I'm telling you. That I'm only giving a cautionary call
Mm-hmm.
to say that I hope that they will be, because if not, we're looking at a social program that would be one of these bottomless pits, because it will be abused, and so there must be controls in place, because if not, you're looking at a vote buying spree and on public on at the expense of the taxpayers, because nothing is free, and at the end of the day, all taxpayers will have to chip in with higher taxes to pay for something that probably doesn't have any grave credence in terms of making sure that protocols are in place, that only the few that are really needy gets the support. And I can tell you that at the school where my child goes, there are a few, but very few. But there must be systems in place. This call is only a cautionary call.
Mm-hmm. But how many persons you think that would take the offer up if they could afford to buy lunches for their children? And how many children would also resist having to go on that program because they may sense that there's a stigma attached to getting a free lunch?
Well, those are questions that I'm sure will come out in the deliberations when they're talking or when they're putting the final touches on this program,
or when they put it in place and they see what the uptake is like. Yeah.
Yes, but my take on it, caller, is that it's better to spend that money now than to have to spend $70 to $80 a year later on when they are in Northward. Mm-hmm. Because they did not have good food, they did not have the capacity to learn, and as far as I'm concerned, it should start from kindergarten. It should start from what's the preschool. There should be breakfast in preschool for all of those kids that are going to preschool, and not only breakfast, but it should be nutritious breakfast, and there should be assigned to those schools nutritionists to make sure that they get the proper foods from that age. And in places like Canada, they give you stipends for each child that you have. I think it's up to $400 or $600 now per month for each child that you have. Let me say this. There was a study made in Canada some time ago about the efficiency and the learning of Asian children. And when you went downtown in Vancouver and you went to all of those buildings, you see all those names as Jong Lee, optician, Bong Chong Lee, surgeon, blah, blah. And they did a study because they were saying that the Asian children were smarter than the Canadian children, and they wanted to know why. And when they did the study, they found that the Asian children were not smarter than the Canadian children, but it's because their parents gave them the efficiency. They gave them money so that they could eat proper lunches when they went to school. They gave them transportation, and so and when they came out of school, they sat with them while they did their homework to get them tea or coffee or whatever they needed. While the Canadian children had to go sometimes without lunch for the whole day because they could not afford to eat in the morning and eat in the afternoon too. Okay. And that was the difference between the learning.
Caller, very quickly, because I've gone over time, but I know that we've spoken more than you, so I want to give you a chance to wrap up.
But just to say that example that you use there is kind of unfair too, because Canada has taxes, so that's fine. I mean, if they want to use the tax dollars to do that. We have no tax. We have no actual direct taxes here in terms of income. So,
but the Cayman Islands government has a way of raising revenue, yes, and they do it quite well.
And based on what we keep saying, our children is our most precious resources. And as Dr. Eric Williams said a long time ago, the future of Trinidad and Tobago's are in the school bags of the children.
Okay, caller, I want to thank you very much for that. please feel free to call back if you want to. That we can't continue this conversation. We do have a caller on hold, but we've gone way over the time for the break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
The story of the new Nokel can be heard in a repeat broadcast Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman. The new Nokel's disappearance, a Cayman Islands maritime mystery. The new Nokel's story. Brought to you by
Thompson Shipping, a name synonymous with cargo and goods to and from the Cayman Islands. Let Thompson Shipping take care of your shipping needs. Thompson Shipping, 949-8044.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines because that caller's been waiting for quite a while. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient.
And thank you, O.C. Good morning to you, O.C. and Dr. Steve Macfield.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. I just want to thank you for this opportunity. Take a minute to say congratulations to Miss Vita Dixon, the lady that worked in the DPP office who won her case.
Oh, yes.
And also to her colleagues, Miss Stacy, and I don't remember her other two colleagues, but they band together and they won the case. That's a fine example of courage, O.C.
They testified in her favor, right? Yes.
That is correct. That's the fine example of banding together. O.C., I'm going through a similar situation at my workplace with an English airport operation manager. But I can't speak too much to that. But they have a style, O.C., some of these English people, to divide and to conquer. And I just want to take a couple of seconds to speak to my people this morning. Why are Caymanians so spineless? Why are they so spineless? O.C., at my juncture now, I will die for my rights, because I've seen the advantage some of these expats come in and take advantage of our people. If we don't watch sharp, O.C., the Caymanians gonna yam ship instead of turtle meat and fish that they're so accustomed to. If we don't start banding together, and these cases all involve English men. I'm not saying all English people from the UK are bad, but they have this mentality to divide and to conquer, and a lot of the Caymanians are falling for it. We have to band together. So I just want to say to Mr. Vita and her colleagues, that's a fine example of courage, and that's how we're supposed to operate. Thank you, O.C.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that as well. Paul, you ready for headline news? You want to go there now? What 1 more minute to talk?
I just want to say.
Go ahead, Doc.
I just want to say in relation to the caller before this last caller, about the children. The government has an obligation to do what they're doing. And I would just like to bring his attention Section 617 of the Bill of Rights. And I would just like to read what it says. It says, in addition to the provisions of this part which afford protection to children, the legislature shall enact laws to provide every child and young person under the age of 18, referred to in this section as a child, with such facilities as would aid their growth and development, and to ensure that every child has, and then it's A, B, C, D, and then I would like to read what it says. To a name, to family care or parental care or appropriate alternative care when removed from the environment, to basic nutrition, shelter, basic health care services, and social services, and to be protected from maltreatment, neglect, abuse, or degradation, and to be protected from exploitative labor practices, to be required to be permitted to perform work. So when you give the child proper lunch, proper breakfast and stuff, that is giving the child basic nutrition and basic health. Because if you don't have basic nutrition and basic health, then you can't learn in school, and then the result of that is that you'll be in places like Boys Home, Francis Borden's home, or in Northward, where the costs are going to be much more than $4 million a year.
Okay, top of the hour headline news, folks. Please stay tuned for the record with Dr. Steve Macfield. Will be back shortly.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Phase 2 of the Cayman Islands reopening plan allows travelers whose vaccinations are verified to quarantine for 5 days without a GPS monitoring device. Unvaccinated travelers are still required to complete 14 days of quarantine, while those whose vaccinations cannot be verified must complete 10 days. Both of these groups will still wear GPS technology. This change applies only to travelers arriving in the Cayman Islands from August 9th onwards. Turning to international news now, at least 2 people have died and dozens more are trapped under debris in a huge landslide in the northern Indian state. Police and local officials there have begun rescue efforts. That according to the chief minister. It's unclear what caused Wednesday's landslide. It happened on a highway. Local reports say 5 people have been rescued, but around 30 others are still trapped. Meteorologists have named the 6th Atlantic storm of 2021, hinting at an above-average season ahead. The U.S. National Hurricane Center has bestowed the name Tropical Storm Fred on a low-pressure system barreling through the Caribbean. The 6th named storm of the year usually forms at the end of August. In the coming days, it could bring strong winds, heavy rain, and high seas to the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. In early July, Tropical Storm Elsa became the earliest 5th named storm on record. And singer Stevie Nicks has canceled all of her gigs for the rest of the year due to rising COVID cases in the U.S. The 73-year-old Fleetwood Mac and solo star had been due to perform at events in Colorado, California, and Texas. She said, "My primary goal is to keep healthy so I can continue singing for the next decade or longer." America is currently averaging more than 100,000 new cases a day for the first time since February due to the Delta variant of the virus. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio K-Man. I'm Shana Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
Office Supply in the Marquee Plaza on Lawrence Boulevard is a participating sponsor of the New Nocos Story, Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman. The story of a modern Cayman Islands passenger ship of its era, which departed Cayman with its destination being Tampa, Florida, in July 1936 and was never heard or seen of again. Office Supply, widest selection at the lowest prices. The back-to-school headquarters, up to 20% discount on school supplies. Visit them today and enter to win laptops, printers, and tablets. Office Supply, 946-1200.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio K-Man.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. We do have a caller, but before we go to that caller, one of our listeners, Doc, sent in and wanted to know, they said that I am a experienced senior civil servant, and they wanted to me to opine as to why is it that they're not allowed to laminate things like status grants or vaccination certificates. So I didn't know the answer, and I resorted to Google. And here's what they say about the lamination of documents. And it says here, indeed, experts say you should never laminate any document to protect them. The reason is that the high heat and pressure used to laminate documents can damage them. Also, the plastic used in laminating will over time off gas. It's a chemical reaction that can damage the paper. So when you're laminating an original document over time, that is going to end up damaging that original document. And I guess the other question is, if you have placed a laminate on it, then have you altered in any way the material aspect of that document? Does it make it more difficult for it to be read by a machine or whatever? Does it make it easier for someone to copy it or make a fake document out of it, yes. And you're unable to then determine that it is fake with the laminate on it as well. But the emphasis seems to be more on the damage of the document later on as well. So there is some logical reason to it. I would say that if you have a document and you want to copy it and laminate the copy of the document and ensure that you still have the original one, then that's another matter for you. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC and Mr. McField. I want to apologize for calling back twice.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you called back because I wanted to give you more time to explain yourself also.
I just wanted to have some time to clarify.
Sure.
I won't take too long. The question about the actual laminate, I just want you to know that the U.S. Customs doesn't recognize laminated documents. If you, for example, if you use something to go into the U.S. which is laminated, they're not going to recognize it.
Yep.
Customs. Anyway, but that's not the reason I called back. It was about probably I want to strike the word harebrained and also replace it with needed to be properly thought out.
Okay.
Because these things it is a fact that once you start a social program, you're not going to take it back ever. And this is an expensive thing, and it must have strict controls in place to prevent abuse, because it is not a cheap program. And I know Mr. Mike, you're talking about the Constitution and stuff, but really we have to make sure that parents also live up to their responsibilities as well. And when you say free lunches, right away everybody thinks, well, here goes, I can save $100 a month or $200 a month or whatever, because I don't have to pay for my child's lunch. And unless there's controls in place to go through some sort of sign up, as we said earlier at the start of the conversation during the first call, to make people have some sort of stigma, say, okay, I'm applying for this, do I really need it, to kind of prick my conscience, you can have a program that grows out of proportion, really, and becomes a financial burden on the Treasury. So it was only that I want to call back to have clarified. We have to watch these social programs, even though they might sound like they're very nice. And to be blunt, we have to also guard against schemes that might sound like they're very needy, but they boil down to a scheme that could be interpreted quite easily as buying votes or having a program to curry favor with the voters for the person or party who brought it into effect. I'm not saying that this is going to be the case here, but I'm very cautious and very, very concerned at the outset that we have proper controls put in place with this idea about free lunches. So it was only that I want to clarify. Perhaps Mr. McField may have may have a colloquy that we can engage in. But if not, I'll just sign off.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you
very much for that again. Yes. Another caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just listening about the lunches, right? So you got a couple of things here. Even if the government were to take this on to make the provision for free lunches, you got people like Feed the Future, so why wouldn't they partner together? Because, I mean, they do one pile of fundraising, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't be that now revert completely on the government purse. It should be that if there is a need that whatever's being met isn't sufficient, then the government tops that up and perhaps matches the contribution. And then you have a proper public-private partnership, and then it would work, because it can't be that would be taken over, and then who would Feed the Future be there for exactly after that? Because the majority of their fundraising goes towards lunches, yeah?
And some towards uniform and things of that nature.
Oh,
so that
I know about that part.
So you don't think that would allow them then to divert those funds that they use for that to something else, because it's always almost impossible for them to meet the demands that are placed on them.
There's two sides to that, because in 2010 when I started that and Cindy Scotland helped me, I didn't start Feed the Future, but I started a fundraiser on the radio because at the time we didn't have a provision for those lunches, yeah? And we didn't have a provision for children who had needs for toiletries and uniforms, and we worked then with the pastoral directors in the schools and identified children who needed, and we raised monies, and then Feed the Future came in after that, which was based on what we were doing then. And so I understand the program, because I was shopping at Price right back then when they had just opened up to get bulk items. And my point to that is that we have need, but I'm just saying that whatever they use, they can still make contributions towards. It shouldn't be that all of the monies then that they have afforded towards food would just detract and go towards something else.
Got you.
I don't think so. And the other issue about the stigma for children, the same company who to call them out who does the catering at the glass out the government building, does the majority of catering in our government schools. They have a system that they use swipe cards for lunches, so no stigma has to be attached, and each child can be presented with a card that they swipe when they go through their canteen. And it would really free up a lot of the stress on the children, because nobody would know. So there's lots of ways to control this and to make it work and to ensure that the benefit is there for all. It may need that they have to have some oversight in terms of those who are eligible versus those who aren't, those who need partial funding, those who need full funding. It's all available. So it's something that can be done. We did it before as a PTA for years and years from time we had Savannah Primary. So it can be done. It's just a matter of those who want it to be done and to be done properly, and it's monitored and not abused. I think that's the key in all of this, is that there isn't an abuse of the privilege that's being provided.
I want to thank you very much for that, and thanks for adding your perspective, coming from a practical standpoint where you have been involved in it as well. I think that is extremely helpful, to us and to our listeners as well. So I want to thank that caller, for that contribution.
Yes, and I want to thank the governor, especially the premier, for bringing this project to the forefront. But I think in one of his addresses, he said that he was alarmed about the number of people children going to school hungry and not having proper foods.
Okay. Paul, we have another caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. O.C., and good morning to Dr. Steve.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good to hear you both. I'm intellectual giants here, passing on good education to us. I wholly and solely agree with you, Dr. Steve. This should be done.
Thank you.
What's $4 million a year for our children? Spent what, $14-15 million on Tempu, and we still don't know what it's all about. And we know it had to be something serious, or it wouldn't have brought down a man of bigger caliber to investigate something. Anyhow, put that aside. It shows the need, as I've always stressed, and everyone knows, we must implement some form of direct income tax to even things up. And that would take care of that. I know about the Canada thing, as you spoke, Dr. Steve. My family there, many nieces, nephews, grandnieces, grandnephews, grew up there in the school. and they know the benefits of what you spoke about.
Yes.
And I don't think we should be depending. It's something I've always thought of with us with so much money here, depending on so many charities. It's great, and I'm glad these people are so benevolent and so forth, and that's necessary. But it should be a plus. It shouldn't be something that we have to depend on, or it's an absolute necessity. It should never be that way. We have the money here. If we portion it out properly, just tax the people's salaries. There are people here earning tremendous salaries,
or at least a corporate, tax.
Yes. Well, no, not that, because it would then offend the investor. I believe we need to hit the people who are earning these big salaries, who are handling the big monies, and it's scaled right down. You'll find many people wouldn't be able to have to pay anything because of a system of how far down do you take it and so forth. It's easy to work out. It's easy done. We have all the technological expertise right here in the government. We have it right there. And we had to use the pensions as unemployment compensation. That's what it amounted to, tax. And that would be in there in that packet for people when you're unemployed. You pay a small percentage of your salary, as I often said, towards that, and a very small percent towards education. When you work it out overall, each person, and it would take care of things, and you could cut down on some of the taxes of import duties and so forth. You could scale it back. We can work that out. We have the mathematicians available to do these kinds of things, and but it shows the necessity of it. And I just close by saying this. What bothers me also is now I look at the names of some, and I'm glad for them on all scholarship recipients, that they're from wealthy families. I always thought scholarships would be more or less, I understand that if you're bright and intellectual and so forth, and you're academically up there at the top, you should be given some sort of prize for it. But I don't think you should be given a scholarship when your parents can afford easily to send you to the best colleges, schools, universities, Ivy League, so forth, etc., or send you right here. And I think that should go. It should be given to people who are bright and intelligent, but their parents don't have the kind of money to send them off to these schools that the scholarships provide with that education.
Agreed with you on that point.
I just thought that we should take a look at these things.
And caller,
yes,
I know that you are a student of history, like I am. And you were talking about taxes, and sometimes I have to smile to myself, and sometimes I don't say anything. I keep my mouth shut because I know the implications of speaking publicly about it. But you remember in 1831, our forefathers had to impose taxes to raise money to protect themselves on this island.
Mm-hmm. And we had a head tax up to...
They had a house tax too. You had a house tax. You had a house tax, according to the value of your house, and among other taxes for other things, for mules, for canoes, and for ships, and for everything.
And for everything.
Yes.
I remember at one time, I think that they're taking in so much taxes, some customs duties. Later on, it must have been the 1870s, that they were at a quandary what to do with the money or something like that. I think that did happen at some period.
And they even had tax. They even have a tax for every ship that came into the harbor.
That's right. And countries do that.
Yep.
Countries do that. No, but I think we need to take a look at our tax structure. Definitely. I do think so.
It will come.
Day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you so much for your program.
Thank you. We have a caller on hold, but we have to take a commercial break. So, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to my Grass Grocery Store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners would like to remind customers the closing time for all stores is 5:30 p.m. Savannah Countryside, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Elgin Avenue, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Puritan Cleaners, 337 Eastern Avenue. Drive-through, rain or shine. 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Now 10% off prepaid on $20 orders and up. Household and wedding dresses remain at standard offer. 10% off on prepaid orders. Drop off and transfer for pickup from any of the 3 Puritan stores for your convenience. Call 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller on hold. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor and Dr. Steve.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
I'd like to thank Mr. Ebanks for bringing up the school lunches.
Mm-hmm.
And also because of his accounting background, he would like accountability, which is great and important, because any meaningful program needs to have accountability as a part of factoring its sustainability. However, I'd like to really congratulate Deidre Seymour, who called in prior to our last caller and made a significant contribution regarding the value of our school lunches for a very vulnerable group of young people who have a future, but for that future to be valuable, they need to probably eat to live. And one of the most civilized things that a community such as ours could do is to make sure that our youngsters, next generation citizens, have a fighting chance to become those fulfilling citizens later on. And it fundamentally has its importance in eating while trying to learn. There are many bright people who have been stymied from their brightness because of health factors associated with diet. And there are families that are deficient even amongst us. We know this, and we need to do what is right for our children.
Yep.
It is, these children are going to be the ones who are going to be taking over government, running our country, hopefully, in years to come. Many of these children will not have a fighting chance, but for our government to do the civilized, the correct, the right thing to take care of them, giving them a meal where it is likely that that will be the only meal they have for a day. And it is frightening to know how many of them will turn out to be very, very important decision makers later on, using that experience to be kindly to successive generations. So, Ms. Deidre, I really, really like and appreciate your contribution, but today was an invaluable one. Yes. Thank you very much for this.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, as well. So, Doc, related to that, this person, one of our listeners, has written and said that example that Dr. Steve stated appears that the Asian parents recognize the importance of education. I think that there needs to be an educational drive on the values of education and how it can improve a person's life. And then they also want to know, can you ask Dr. Steve if he knows how the condos are allowed to place obstructions on the edge of the West Bay Road to prevent parking for beach access? I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. I keep hearing people talk about it, and I have to make an effort to go and look at what they have actually been doing. Are you familiar with that, Doc?
No, I'm not familiar with that, but okay. I know that that the condos and some other people on the beach, on the seasides, have been restricting people by putting up barriers and by blocking places and so forth. I would just like to make it clear. We have governments, and we have the executives who are elected to protect our interests. I cannot understand why it's so hard when people have elected you to protect their interests and you are not allowing people to run roughshod over their interests, especially to block entrances, to block access to the beaches. If I was elected, that would never happen, because I would make it quite clear that that could not happen under my administration. And in fact, if they did it, I would send my bulldozers in there and clear it. There's an old a little story about Sir Alexander Bustamante and Siaga, the two great leaders of Jamaica who have passed on. I was told that one time Siaga came to see the chief, Sir Alexander Bustamante, at his house, and he was the minister of housing, Mr. Siaga.
Okay.
And Sir Alexander Bustamante got into a conversation with him, and Siaga had just got rid of the dongle. You know the place they call dongle in Jamaica. It was a horrible place where people living in old cars and people living in cardboard boxes and people living in and so forth, shantytown. And he bulldozed it down to get to build up Tivoli Gardens. And when he came to see Sir Alexander Bustamante, Sir Alexander says, "Sega," he says, "something bothers me." He says, "I don't like how you bulldozed down Dungle and didn't give those people a chance to find a place to live." And Siaga said, "Well, sir, I would just like to tell you that I gave them the usual 6 months notice for them to move. And when the 6 months up they did move, I brought in my bulldozers and I cleared the site. Because, sir, after all, I'm the Minister of Health. I'm the Minister of Health. I'm the Minister of Housing." And Sir Alexander Bustamante, after the talks, Siaga left. And Sir Alexander Bustamante called his secretary and says, "Come here. I would like you to take a message, a note to Sega." And he says, "You may be the Minister of Housing, but I am the Prime Minister. and you fired from that position. That's the kind of decision you have to make.
Yes.
And if we made that decision at the initial stages, we would not get to the point where people are blocking our accesses, blocking our beaches, and blocking our sidewalks to keep people away from enjoying what's rightful.
And building so close to our beaches that they're ruining them as well. Okay, I'm going to try to share this before we go to our next commercial break. This person says, good morning. If work, that is WORC, department was not busy enough and overwhelmed already, I understand, that they are now swamped with registering the COVID stipend recipients for employment. But at the same time, employees, and small businesses are being thrown to the side when they ask work for assistance and updates because we are focusing on the COVID registration now. So this is another example of poor resources and project management. They need to appoint a new temporary team, maybe from government departments that are not too busy, instead of burdening the already deficiently resourced work. Our economic needs must be balanced with social programs. Otherwise, we will become povertized third world country. Is the business community seeing any of this? So they're complaining about the fact that work is now being preoccupied with registering COVID-19 stipend recipients, and their core responsibilities are not being addressed, and as a result, employers the business community are suffering as a result of that, something that the government will want to look into if that is actually happening. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we need to start to talk a little bit, Doc, about the private sector as well as the government, and where do we go as far as the COVID-19 vaccination is concerned if we are to reach that 80% that we need to reach. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You don't always have to give up the food you love to live a healthier life. You just have to choose better to eat better. At Caribbean Bakery, we know that delicious, nutritious bread only uses a few ingredients that leads to better taste, better health, and an overall better experience. We focus on simple, quality ingredients while leaving out the bad ingredients that commercial bread brands are known for and can lead to illness. Feed your body, feed your family with 100% additive-free, freshly baked bread from Caribbean Bakery. And don't miss our hot bread Sundays, freshly baked loaves delivered to Mick Russ grocery store every Sunday morning. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
The Department of Education Services and the Public Health Department would like to inform parents that health screening for new students will take place during the summer until August 23rd across Grand Cayman schools. The Public Health Department will be visiting your district schools and will be contacting you regarding school health screening appointment. Health screenings will also continue during September and October for those children who were not screened during the summer.
The New Noka's Story, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman. Being brought to you by Puritan Cleaners, professional full-service launderers and dry cleaners, offering 1 hour and same-day service and a full drapery service. Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. 3 locations to serve you.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. One of our callers also wanted to know why is it that the government in phase 2 of the reopening will not be requiring those persons who are quarantining for 5 days to not have the GPS monitoring. I don't know why I can speculate, but I would venture to say that, number one, the success of the program so far in terms of monitoring, that has been extremely successful. Yes. So the government must feel that they can go one step farther. Also, I would imagine that when we get to where we are now, to the 5-day quarantine, if you've had both vaccines and they're verifiable and everything else, that you're going to have more persons traveling, and the government's ability then to cover those additional numbers may be hampered. But because of the experience of the past and the success of that, they can move forward, because the whole intention is to continue to relax the restrictions, the protocols that they have in place, to relax those as we move closer and closer to full reopening as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Mr. Connor.
Yes, ma'am.
You always talking about the beach a while ago, beach parking and so forth. You know, those spikes that is down there on the 7-mile stretch is more mainly in front of some of those condos where it has the beach access onto the beach. And I thought that was part of government road. Why would the condos put these spikes? I consider government roads, because why would they put them there? And they just don't want anyone to park in front of their condo. And I think that if that's government road, they should have the right to put those spikes in front of those condos. You all can tell me that I'm wrong. And down at the public beach, went down there on Saturday, and you know they have a handicap mat down there. And Mr. Connor, if you see the condition of that mat again, you wonder if anybody's actually using it with a wheelchair.
Mm.
Yes, and there's also a little wall there, with the wording of the mat being laid out and so forth, and the Gotland name and so forth on it. And they had some sort of decorative decoration on the wall of it, and apparently it's like almost off. And the wall itself, look, it hasn't been painted since it was put up. And like Mr. Maxfield said some time ago, why are we trying to help maintain the island when we see things going bad? Well, Mr. Maxfield, I wish that I could maintain everything that I see going bad that we're trying to put on here for all of us to enjoy. But I'm just one crying wolf in the wilderness, as OC called me, you know. So I would love to be more help to my community, because this is where I was born, and this is where I hope to die. And if I die anywhere else, I hope to be brought back home. But I just want to say that we, the people that call ourselves Caymanians, we have very little interest in our own country.
Mm-hmm.
We got people come here and work permits, and they come out here and they pick up our garbage. They walk the dogs, the stray dogs that they take to the kennel there, and they get all kind of they get their citizenship and so through these little things that they do. And we right here complaining that we, the people, can't get put forward. And we must realize that we do not come together. We are so divided that it's pathetic. We got communities into this community. We got other nationalities bringing their own community into our small community. And if a Caymanian have something, you might find, if you find 20 people do it, it's a miracle. You have something from Jamaica or anywhere else that they can't find a way to park cars on the road because it's overwhelmed with their people. We need to get together. This is 2021, and things aren't getting any better for us. It's getting harder. As long as those borders are closed, it's going to be harder. And this virus is going nowhere. Now that I understand there's a third one up there. We got a lot of people who doesn't want to take the vaccine. You can take them to the well, but you can't make them drink the water. But what's going to happen, OC and Mr. Matthew? I pray that we don't have a breakout here. and they had to build a massive grave, which I don't think is anywhere to build a massive grave in the Cayman Islands. And you know who's going to be gone? The few Caymanians that is left. This who's going to be gone. I just want to leave that with you guys this morning.
Thank you very much. We still have another caller, Paul. Okay, we're going to make this caller the last caller for the morning because we want to move on to a topic that I believe is extremely important from more than one viewpoint. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir.
And Dr. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to find out because I think I might be mistaken. But I'm wondering if the left hand print, if the print the print on the left hand is identical to the right hand. Because it seems like some people believe that. And therefore they try to work with that. You see.
Can you elaborate on that or clarify what do you mean?
Well, I'll just let them know plain and straight. You know, I'm a man of many talents and skills, and it's not their business to figure me out. There's such a thing as intellectual property and all those things.
Yes.
You know, I can write my story and you know, that's my story. You know, they don't need to know whether it's real or if it's based on a true story or whatever it is, or it's fiction. But the whole point about it is it's my story, you know, and my creations. If I want to design technology and all that sort of stuff, that belongs to me.
Okay.
You know, and I don't think that they should be trying to figure me out because it's none of their business. And if I decide that I want to work, because certain things can't be made in the Cayman Islands, and if I wanted to work with people in the past, in the distant past, whatever, from other places, I mean that's my business, you know. I think it would have been a great inspiration to a lot of Caymanians if they knew. If they knew that their own Caymanian were on certain levels, but I don't think that will ever be known, really.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so Doc, Paul, we're going to close the phone lines off now. Article in the Cayman News Service website in relation to, and it reads, DPL, that's the Department of Labor and Pensions, advises bosses to encourage, not force, the vaccine. And very quickly, I'm going to read this. We'll go to a commercial break, and then want you to share from the international side of things, you know, how it is being viewed as well.
Yes.
So it says, as the question over whether or not employers can force their workers to be vaccinated continues to fuel public debate, the Department of Labor and Pensions has issued some general guidance on COVID-19 vaccination policies for employers and the impact on existing and potential employees, as well as data protection issues relating to vaccination status. While employers have a legal responsibility to ensure the health and safety of their employees as far as reasonably possible, the department warned that engaging in a policy to mandate vaccination could raise several legal issues if employers take punitive, disciplinary, or discriminatory action when an employee refuses to be vaccinated. Even though some form of determined action is going to be needed to move the vaccination rate, which remains stalled at 68% and several thousand people short of the government's 80% target, the department pointed out that unless there is a contractual requirement for workers to be vaccinated, employers need the consent of their employees. The guidelines instead suggest that employers help their staff make an informed decision through education with independent factual information about the risks associated with COVID-19 and the specific impact on the workplace. Employers should assist employees by explaining the benefits of vaccination and encourage employees to be vaccinated, the department is quoted as saying. There are currently no regulations in place concerning compulsory vaccination, and any employer considering introducing a blanket mandatory vaccination policy needs to be wary of the implications of then disciplining existing staff that refuse to take the shots. Employers, and this is a quote, employers should approach the taking of disciplinary action with caution, since dismissing an employee is not without legal risks. And that's a quote from the Department of Labor. I'm going to try to see if I can parse some of this. Consideration should also be given to whether mandatory vaccination is a reasonable way to deal with the potential risks of exposure to the virus in specific circumstances, whether alternative measures could be taken to mitigate the risk, the department advises as well. Then the article goes on to say the Cayman Islands government is not mandating vaccination for public sector workers and has chosen a path of encouragement, even for frontline staff. From Monday, as government lifts the requirement for verified vaccination, travelers to isolate for 5 days at home without the tagging system, all unvaccinated frontline workers that may interact with travelers will be tested at least weekly. So we're going to take the commercial break. When we return, Doc, I'm going to have you deal with an article in The Guardian that talks about this balancing act that needs to take place as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's service center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Optical Outlook Caymanian Village location has moved. Same great services and products, new location. We've moved to Anderson Square in central Georgetown. It's a much larger space with dedicated parking. Please call us on 746-2020 to make your appointment at our new location today. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please come see the difference with Optical Outlook, Cayman's premier optical provider.
The Department of Environment would like to invite Cayman Brac residents to a special community meeting at the Spot Bay Primary School this Thursday, 12th August at 7:30 p.m. to discuss the conservation plan for the shrub known as Sybil's crownbeard. The entire world population of Sybil's crownbeard grows on the north-facing cliffs of Cayman Brac's Bluff. The community meeting is this Thursday, 12th August, 7:30 p.m. at Spot Bay Primary School. To learn more, download the plan from www.conservation.ky.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. And we have closed the phone lines off because there's something that Dr. Macfield wants to cover. And while it is something that is generated by a non-Caymanian media entity,
it's relevant to
us here in the Cayman Islands. Exactly. Go ahead, Doc.
Now, this article appeared in the Guardian just yesterday. It says, after a turbulent 18 months running an online retail business during the pandemic, Julie Jones is now facing a new challenge. One of her 8 employees has decided not to get vaccinated against COVID. The company, based in the northwest of England, works in a small office space, and having one unvaccinated team member is causing health and financial concerns for Jones. It's a difficult situation. I'm between a rock and a hard place. I would really rather she was jabbed, but I feel it is personal choice, Julie said. It is not a health care setting, and I don't feel it's my place as an employer to ask her to do something medical she is comfortable with. But I'm also very concerned about the potential impact on the business. Just a minute.
Okay, there you go.
Yes. It's not a healthcare setting, but I don't feel it's my place as an employer to ask her to do something medical she isn't comfortable with, but I'm also very concerned about the potential impact on the business if she went off with COVID and the rest of us had to isolate. Despite this, Jones has decided not to tell her employees they need to be fully vaccinated in order to enter the office over fears it could lead to the loss of a valued team member. She's a fantastic employee, and I would rather take the risk of her not being jabbed than risk an argument and her potential leaving over it. She said, thousands of businesses and organizations of all sizes are weighing up how best to bring workers safely back to their desks after many months of remote working. They are also aware that making a vaccination demands of their staff is a moral and legal minefield. Like Jones, some employees fear and no job policy could be at risk. Resignations, or at worst, leave them open to legal claims of unfair dismissal or discrimination. As a result, companies are divided over how best to protect staff during widespread return to the office. Many workers have said they would feel safer in the workplace if they knew that other colleagues were also fully immunized. Also, a quarter, which is 24%, of business managers said they would only be prepared to work with colleagues who had been double jabbed, according to a recent survey by the Chartered Management Institute. The poll found employees aged 55 and over were more likely than younger people to say they would only want to share a workspace with the fully vaccinated. Large American corporations have embraced the policy of mandatory vaccinations and more enthusiastically than their British counterparts. U.S. financial firms, which have been the loudest in expressing their desire to get workers back to the office, were also among the first to tell their teams that only vaccinated staff could return to their headquarters.
Fully vaccinated, too.
Fully,
yeah.
Yes. Wall Street Bank Morgan Stanley will only allow double jab employees into its New York office when they return in September. Others will have to work at home. Vanguard, one of the world's largest investment firms, is approaching the issue differently. It is offering U.S. employees $1,000 COVID incentive if they can show proof of vaccination by October. Following a surge of COVID cases in the U.S. because of the spread of the Delta variant, tech giant Google has just told its employees they will have to be vaccinated to return to its corporate buildings. Chief Executive Sundar Pichai informed workers the policy would initially be implemented in the U.S. before being adopted globally And other U.S. tech firms, including Uber and Facebook, have also said that employees must be vaccinated. In the UK, however, making vaccination a condition of return of the workplace could leave employers open to accusations of discrimination or even unfair dismissal, according to employment lawyers. The government had to pass legislation in order to compel care homes to make sure all workers in England without medical exemption were fully vaccinated against COVID, and this will come in force in November. Okay. Demanding workers are vaccinated is urgently a breach of human rights. You have a right not to go through a medical procedure, said Catherine Evans, head of employment laws at Three Hovens. You've got a whole raft of these issues, starting from the work contract not requiring someone to get vaccinated, to claims of unfair dismissal, to discrimination. The employment rights enshrined in law for UK workers means employers are expected to tread carefully. And then Sharon Birch, who owns Footprints Learning for Life Nursery in Hartlepool, has favored encourage over compulsion for her employees. She would prefer her staff to be vaccinated to protect both themselves, their colleagues, and some of the more vulnerable children they look after. One of Birch's 35-strong team initially decided not to get vaccinated, while her youngest employees are still waiting to be called up for their appointments. She said, "I don't want to enforce it. I sat and had a conversation with one staff member and discussed the reasons why, not necessarily to convince her, but to understand her motives. She discussed the benefits of the vaccine, and she has now gone out and had her first one shot," she said. I think we have a responsibility to the families that we look after to give them the best protection that we can by being responsible. So that article.
Okay, and then I think there's. We'll share this part in The Guardian as well. It says here, we believe everyone deserves access to information that is grounded in science and truth, and an analysis rooted in authority and integrity.
So, the problem that we have now in our jurisdiction here is to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me...
But is your view that the government can legislate to make
yes, it's my
vaccination mandatory?
It's my view that the government can do that. And so what we are facing now is the rights of the people versus the interests of public health. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe the situation has come down to. And when I read Section 16.3 of the Constitution, the discriminatory section, and this is what subsection 3 says: no law or decision of any public official shall contravene the discriminatory section if it has an objective and reasonable justification and is reasonable proportionate to its aim in the interests of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, and this is the most important one, or public health. Mm-hmm. So it seems to me that it's the politicians who have to make that decision, whether they can bring a law to justify and that is reasonable and proportionate to its aim in the interest of public health to stop or to not to stop, but to control the transmission of COVID.
Okay.
It seems to me, as I read the Constitution, that if the government brings a law that says you have to get the COVID, that does not contravene the Constitution, the part of the Constitution that says that you're being discriminated against.
Okay. And on a local front, here we have another one again. This is another article in, and I won't read all of it, but liquor store to track and test all unvaxxed staff. And it basically says that local wine and liquor retailer Jake Scott has confirmed that it is tracking the vaccination status of all of its staff and plans to introduce regular COVID-19 testing for employees who are not vaccinated at all of its shops. The liquor chain has a store at Owen Roberts International Airport, and so since the repatriation flights began, it has had to tell the airport authority about the number of staff working at the airport who have and have not been vaccinated. And I know, again, this is going to, the arguments are going to come about personal information and how that information is shared. But again, all of that is going to have to be weighed against the interest of public health.
Yes.
And I would imagine that at some point in time, and probably pretty soon, we're going to see a legal case emanate from all of this, and the courts having to resolve the issue. I believe at some point in time, if the numbers do not go up, like what you said off air before, Doc, that if those numbers of vaccinated persons do not
reach the 80%,
then the government has to look at other alternatives. If they're going to get beyond phase 2 and on to phase 3, 4, and 5, they're going to have to look at other alternatives.
The decision will have to be made, and the decision will have to be made by them. Mm-hmm. And the decision, the operative words are reasonable, proportionate, in the interests of public health versus the rights of people.
Right. And people have to understand also that while it may be your right to choose whether or not to take the vaccine, you should ask the question, is it right for you to potentially expose others by not taking the vaccine? So the question as to is it right as opposed to I have the right to.
But I don't think so.
Well, yeah.
And I will believe so. And that brings me to something that I was telling you about in the 1940s, I think the late 40s and the early 50s, about outbreak of tuberculosis in Cayman.
Yes.
And it came, I think it's, my parents told me it came from either Nicaragua or Honduras. Mm-hmm. And it was very contagious among the men who drank liquor. Mm-hmm. Because in those days there were no nightclubs and there were no shot glasses. Men bought bottles of liquor and they shared a bottle. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then there was an outbreak. And when they traced it to someplace up in Sound Road, the government of Jamaica came down, the health people from Jamaica came down, and they took all the people back to Jamaica, all the people who were their friends and who had drank with these people who were exposed to them had to be tested, mandatory tested. And some of them who were positive were sent to Jamaica to the chest clinic. And the house was burnt and all the surroundings were burnt because I understand that the saliva, if you spit on the ground, blah, blah, that was a potential spreader. And they burnt the whole place. And that's what they had to do. So there's precedent for that here, and the government the politicians will have to make the decisions if the time comes in November or this October, November, when they have not reached the numbers that they're looking at. The decision will have to be made, and they will have to balance the rights of the people versus the interests of public health.
Excellent. Doc, I want to thank you very much for being here this morning. Gone over time, so I won't have my closing remarks this morning. I just want to say that we do ask the Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, your station, your voice. All things Cayman, one radio, many people. This is home.